Hello, everybody. We are here on February 15th of 2015 to play the Indie Plus exhibition game of Questlandia by Hannah Shaffer. I'm Brendan Conway.
I'm Hannah Shaffer.
I'm Jenn Martin. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
She made the game. I'm just Jenn.
I made the game.
I'm Quinn Murphy.
And I'm Rich Rogers.
And so this game will be in accordance with the Indie Plus community standards. If you'd like to find out more about what those are, you can head to the Indie Plus website at indieplus.org. That is plus spelled out as the word, not the symbol. And in general, this game, in terms of content, will feature nothing that you wouldn't see in a PG-13 movie. So there might be violence, and there might be some romance potentially, but again, nothing you wouldn't see in a PG-13 movie, so nothing graphic. So with that said, Hannah, take it away.
Cool. Should I give like a little intro to the game, or
Absolutely.
do we just hit the ground running? Okay. So Questlandia is sort of a unique kingdom-building game where everybody gets together, and first we go through this process of building a weird fantasy kingdom together, and then we all take on the roles of characters in that kingdom, and we sort of play out our lives and our goals while our kingdom collapses around us. So that is the game in a nutshell. So we're going to be drawing troubles as the game goes on, and things are probably going to be getting worse and worse for our kingdom. So yeah, if people are ready to sort of just jump right into kingdom creation. Okay. Does everybody have character sheets and stuff? Is that pre-printed? It's okay. We can make.
We have a Google Doc that we're all going to put our stuff in, right?
Okay. Cool. That should be okay too. So all right, so the first thing that we learn about our kingdom is its ambition. If somebody wants to just roll a six-sided die, then we can figure out our kingdom ambition, which is just on a little handy reference table. So I don't know if somebody is feeling like the brave. Okay.
Yeah.
That was sort of. I was expecting like more of a drum roll, but it just sort of popped up there. Cool. So if whoever is sort of in charge of the Google Doc, if you just want to mark that is a kingdom that is driven by religious or philosophical motivations. So that is our kingdom ambition. And the next thing that we're going to do is draw our kingdom troubles, which involves drawing 6 cards. So does somebody who has a deck of cards want to draw 6 cards?
I'll do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. So 6 cards. I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck. By the way, this deck is it's a stud deck. I just want to point that out.
Time to share.
Yep. All right. So first card is the 7 of Hearts.
And you don't even actually need to show them to us yet. What you want to do is basically just draw like 6 and then match up the suits. And the suits are going to represent the severity of the troubles. So draw 6 all at once, and then match up duplicates of the suits. And let me know if that makes sense.
We have 3 spades.
All right, so 3 spades. So spades are war or external conflict. So if you just want to mark right next to that, yeah. What else?
That's the only matches. I have 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 club.
Great. Okay, cool. So that means basically imagine this on like a scale of 1 to 6, with 1 being a problem that pretty much nobody in the kingdom would notice. Maybe somebody who's like a financial expert or a philosopher, depending on what the problem is. And with 6 being like the apocalypse. So 3 is pretty bad. 3 means something that's like on the news and in the public, very much in the public awareness. And 1, it's not really something anybody's aware of yet. So it looks like we have a pretty big problem with war at this point, but we don't know who we're at war with. So let me just go have a little sheet to make sure I don't miss anything. Cool. So now's the time to come up with some kingdom features and norms, and this is totally collaborative. And I'm going to sort of let everybody else play and kind of just be more of a facilitator, if that's cool. It's a GM-less game, but I don't know how many folks have like read the rules, so I'm happy to just like be here helping to move things along. So to come up with kingdom features and norms, basically you just start by throwing something out that seems like a cool thing that you would want to see in the game. So a feature might be something like what our kingdom looks like or what the weather's like. And a norm might be like something that is a law in our society or a custom, or the way the people act or what they look like.
I have this image in my head with what's going on here, that like the kingdom is like consists of like a few sort of like the mega churches, like, but like they're sort of like church cities, like sort of almost like a church arcology, you know, like all these spires, bridges between like different like, you know, temples and things like that. And
cool. Yeah, and with this part of the process, it's basically just veto power. So if you said that and somebody was like, nah, that's not a game I want to play in, that's basically how this goes. So if everybody thinks it's cool, then great, then it's in. So, and then basically we just want to make sure that everybody has a chance to say, you know, to give input. So Quinn, you won't go again until everybody else has given some suggestion about a kingdom feature and norm.
Cool.
Sounds great.
And we want like 9 of them to start.
You said things that we want to see kingdom related. So it turns out that as a celebration of 2 years on Drive-Thru RPG, that all the D&D RPGs are like super cheap or 15% off. And I saw the cover to Greyhawk Adventures, which has a guy on a flying mount. So I think it would be totally awesome if we have flying mounts. Is that okay?
Cool.
Sold.
That works for me.
Oh, sweet.
What kind of flying mount?
I was just gonna ask.
I was not going to necessarily.
Don't say
determine
bees,
that.
man. Don't say bees.
Wasn't
I was thinking
it like a
griffin.
griffin on the cover of the Greyhawk Adventures?
Griffins are cool.
Yeah.
Well, not just griffins, you know. Maybe somebody's like on a flying bird, you know, all joust style, you know.
As opposed to a non-flying bird, Rich.
As opposed to
Hey, we're making this world, so we could totally have lots of giant chickens or something.
Penguins who don't. I'm gonna go to Wikipedia now again.
Ostriches.
Are we sort of leaving this as generally people just use flying creatures, or do you want to say it's specifically one of those things, Rich, just so that I have this feature written exactly how you wanted it?
Wow, man, you just hammer me down.
I'm sorry.
Flying mounts is all I want. Everything.
It's totally okay to leave that for now and expand it later. That's totally fine.
I think the kingdom, I think it's always raining, and there's like one day every 3 or 4 years that's sunny, and so we all look forward to that day.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
It's probably even a religious like holiday.
So can we at least, like, I don't want the rain to make it hard to fly, because then it kind of kills my flying mounts.
Well, it can be like drizzly. It can be like Seattle.
Okay, I'm cool
Just
with that.
gloomy and drizzly and gray most of the time.
It's kind of like having a Regency England, but there's a revolution. You know, we just need to make sure they can both coexist.
I guess I'm not even like dead set on it actually being rainy. I just want it to be gloomy. So
I like gloomy. I like gloomy.
I like
I like rainy. I just want to make sure my flying mounts can fly.
Your flying mouse is now.
Brendan, I think that you are the only one so far that we have not heard from. So I don't know if you have a kingdom feature or norm that you want to add.
Yeah. It is so sad that my mind is drawing a blank right now.
Well, you
Brendan,
can use
you
what we already
about,
know.
I'm.
Sorry.
Brendan, you should say something about the government.
I should say something about the government.
We're
That's an idea.
We're motivated by religion or some sort of philosophy, so that's a good guide to use. And we know that we're at war, not civil war, some external war.
So it is. I mean, it's ruled by religion, but I'm thinking that it's specifically like a dearchy, where essentially the Senate is made up of gods, and a god is anybody who can get 10 people to worship them.
Nice.
I like that. That's cool. So let's just do one more round of features and norms, just to sort of like round things out a little bit more. And now that everybody's gone, anybody can jump in again who has an idea.
Expanding on that, and especially with the Senate of the Gods thing, I think like each of those sort of like each of these sort of like different temples and stuff that you can get from is like, instead of being organized by clans, they're organized by sects. Sects.
So, SEC?
Yeah, like SECTS. Of different sort of, different gods and things like that. So like that sort of like this big temple might have thousands of people all dedicated to like one version of that religion or something.
Mm. That's cool.
I kind of like the idea of there being like very sharp relief between like the people who are the warriors who go out and fight the wars, and then the people who make like the stained glass windows and the pretty architecture.
And are you saying that they're like at odds with each other, or just that they're two really different classes of society?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Cool.
What if the dovetail, or I want to make sure I am dovetailing with what Jen said, that it's almost the lowest caste. Like you can't do the cool art stuff, so you go into the military.
Mm.
Yeah, could be cool. Mm-hmm. And they're not bitter about it at all. No.
I can sense some sarcasm there. Cool. So do you imagine it being like a forced military service then, or just sort of that's the lot that
I like
you drew?
the forced. I like the idea of it. Well, you don't have a trade, so here's weapons.
Yeah.
Cool.
Here's a sword.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It always works out.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, let's get one more thing.
Let's see. I'm wondering if like there's a way to, parts of the city are literally sectioned off from people who aren't allowed to be there. So your symbol, the symbols you carry that are sort of the holy symbols that are all important in the city, they actually give you access to walk into parts of the city. So class is divided very clearly. If you don't have the correct symbol, you literally are not capable of entering like another, like if you don't have the right sect's symbol, you can't go over to their tower. You're literally not allowed in.
Mm. Yeah, I like that.
Cool. Awesome. I'm just writing down some notes also. Cool. So eventually we're going to, is there anything also, does anybody want to add anything before? We can do another pass on this later, but we can add like one more thing or expand on one more thing before moving on. But we don't have to.
I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah, this seems a pretty good start.
Cool.
Can you tease out a little bit more about what you mean by church? When I hear the word arcology, I think of Shadowrun. So, is that
well, it's like a big superstructure. Like imagine, like it's kind of like instead of like, oh, there's a city and there are all these buildings. There's like a huge superstructure, and then like all of these like little divisions through it. Like you could sort of like, people are moving from building through these like walkways, and it's like ultra gothic kind of, lots of like spires and land bridges and stuff, and the whole thing is like you can barely, the way I'm envisioning it is like you can barely even see the ground. You're just always inside a structure, this superstructure that takes over like huge, like just like a big city.
And would that be sort of like, are you imagining that that is for the biggest, like the most represented religious sect, or that there's like all of these different sort of mini religious sects that have structures?
Yeah, like there are all these mini sort of sects that have structures within it and different like parts of the building. So you might have like, you might go through a bridge to one spire that is all for, the Church of Quinn. Wow, that has a nice ring to it. And and that's all that. But then going on over to the next one might be the Church of Rich, and everything like that. So
cool. Awesome. Cool. So do people feel ready to come up with a name for our kingdom and some syllables that form the base of our language? Does that sound cool? And we can, again, expand on stuff as we go on. So basically, to come up with a name for our kingdom, we're going to throw out a few syllables and then combine those syllables to come up with the name for the kingdom, and then also eventually to come up with names for our characters. So not every syllable that we come up with has to be combined, but we're going to sort of pick and choose a few of them. So if people just want to throw out a syllable, and we can write them down and then mash them together.
And so when you say a syllable, you mean something like just a single sound, like O.
Yeah, it's okay to be like a little fluid with that. You could say Opa if you wanted. But
okay.
O, Ra, Tu.
I kind of like Ak. I'm gonna add Ak.
Cool.
I like Key.
Key.
I'm trying to figure out how to write down key, whether it's K-E-Y or K-E-E or K-I.
What do you think, Jen?
I don't have strong feelings. In my head it was K-I, but whatever.
Cool.
Vo. V-O.
Is that
V-O-H.
Is that V like as in Victor?
Yep.
Okay.
Victor.
Let's come up with like 8 syllables.
Like T-Z-A, za.
Cool. I like that one.
Go with Syl. S-Y-L.
Mm.
I'm going to go with just ooh.
Like O-O or
Yeah.
U.
Yeah, either. Yeah.
Vim. V-I-M. Like the text editor.
Got it.
Yeah.
This is all the name of one nation?
We'll sort of pick and choose from them. So yeah, it doesn't have to be like the Kingdom of Akivansa Silovim.
I was thinking it's getting a little long.
Yeah, we're gonna pick and sort of combine them, and then those syllables can also be folded into character names. So it's just sort of the kingdom has a consistent language.
It's like the linguistic seed.
Yeah, exactly.
For the area. I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's come up with one more for now, and then they can be added as we go on.
Cur.
Ooh. Awesome. All right, so out of these, is there a combination that jumps out at anybody for the name of the kingdom?
Yes, the one I like is actually right in the middle of the document is Vosasil, the kingdom of Vosasil.
How do people feel about that? Is that
I like it.
Vosasil? Cool.
I like it.
Yep.
Awesome. That was easy. Sometimes that part is a lot longer, so that was great. Awesome. So now that we have a kingdom, language, and name, we're going to do initial ownership, which is, in Questlandia, one way to sort of balance creative control in the game is that people have ownership over different elements that come up. So somebody might own a kingdom trouble, or somebody might own a neighboring kingdom, and all that owning means is that when sort of a question comes up about something creatively, you get to be the one who has final say over that, sort of what that thing does and how it functions. So just before we start the game, we should do a quick round of ownership where everybody takes ownership of one thing that we already know about. So that can be any one of these norms that we've come up with. It could be one of the troubles. Yeah. And let me know if you have other questions about that. You can sort of refer to the list.
Anybody want to jump on anything?
Can I own the war?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Cool. We'll just start off with everybody owning one thing.
What about you, Rich and Jen? Do you have any thoughts?
Can I own the Senate of Gods?
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Cool. See, we have like the military, the artists, or artisans, flying mounts.
And so just as a clarification point, like there's going to be a little bit of overlap with some of these. So for instance, if somebody owns the military, there's a vague or slight overlap between that and the war, but we can still sort of distinguish between them.
Yeah, and I mean, basically when overlap comes up, which it will all the time, the players who own those things sort of collaborate on, their ideas, each sort of putting in, their opinions from their side of the ownership, if that makes sense.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Rich, do you have any feelings?
Well, I'll just take fly mounts, I guess.
Cool. And more ownership will come up as the game goes on, so, if you don't feel like your thing is as cool as the war now, then, you'll get your chance.
And I'm going to go ahead and take the forced military.
Cool. Forced military.
Poor guys.
Awesome. So let's pick our characters. So does somebody who has cards want to draw cards for the number of players in the game plus 1? So we'll draw 5.
Okay. Do I do any kind of secret reveal, or am I looking for matches, or what am I doing?
So what we're going to do is that the cards will indicate the character identity, and then we're going to roll a die and match up a die with each card, and that's going to indicate the character's drive. So I think maybe the way to go is just that if you want to roll, or if you want to draw a card, and somebody else can roll a die, and then I can just read from the tables of what those are, and then we can just like bang them out really quickly.
I'll roll dice.
Great.
Okay, so roll 4.
All right, so 4 is somebody who is driven by tradition or preservation. And then, Rich, if you just want to draw the card, and we can match those up.
Okay, is a Jack of Hearts.
Cool. So Jack is all that we just need the face. So that is somebody who is an advisor. Oh, and actually, we also need the color. So was that a red card?
Yes.
That is the starting fortune, and I honestly can't remember if I think red is somebody who's starting with high fortune. Let's say red is high fortune and not low fortune. So that's somebody who's starting the game lucky. All right, so let's draw another card.
5.
And it is
Somebody.
a black 9.
Cool. So that is somebody driven by adventure or wanderlust, who is a holy person, who is starting unlucky.
Right.
Awesome.
5.
Red queen.
Cool. So we have another person driven by adventure. Queen is an aristocrat and lucky. Cool. So 2 more.
Oh, is someone transcoding this into the document?
Yeah, Brenda's doing it.
I am indeed.
Fantastic.
Cool. Thanks, Brendan.
3.
3.
And a black queen.
Cool. So 3 is somebody driven by change or progress. That is another aristocrat who is unlucky.
When we say aristocrat in this, should we interpret that as the deities?
That could be very much up to sort of interpretation. I mean, we have the deities, and then there's also sort of this artist clan, these artists that are maybe a little bit undefined right now, and it's a little unclear sort of how much power they have in society. So I think at this point that could really go, be up to you and sort of, how you chose to interpret that character. And we'll take ownership over these characters in a minute. So let's just draw one more, and that character, there's an extra character that won't get used, but it just makes sure that,
Black
if one
7.
doesn't jump out at anybody. Cool. And what was is that
5.
a 5 down there?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep, I'm rolling 5s all
We have a lot
day.
of adventure. Yeah, everybody wants to go on an adventure. And that was a black 7?
Yes.
Cool. So that is somebody who is a virtuoso or an artist.
Oh, hey.
Which seems appropriate, yeah. But they are unfortunately unlucky. At least now at the start of the game. Cool. Do you want me to run down? Should I run down the list? Or Brendan, I don't know if you want to run down and just sort of review who we just drew?
Sure, I'm happy to run down.
Cool.
I will, and I'll do the thing so anybody who's watching can hopefully see this. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Great. So we have a character whose drive is tradition and preservation. Their identity is an advisor, and their starting fortune is lucky. We have a character whose drive is adventure or wanderlust. They're a holy person, like a healer, or a priest, a prophet, or a monk, and they're unlucky to start the game. We have a character whose drive is adventure and wanderlust. They are an aristocrat, a noble, and one of the elite, one of the upper crust, and their starting fortune is lucky. We have a character who's interested in change and progress. They are an aristocrat as well, and their starting fortune is unlucky. And finally, we have a character interested in adventure, wanderlust, who is a virtuoso, a master creator, and their starting fortune is unlucky.
So if there's a character that's really jumping out to somebody, you can say so, and if 2 people make a grab for the same character, you can duel to the death. That's the official rule in the game. No, we can talk it out diplomatically.
I kind of like the change progress aristocrat.
Cool.
Cool beans. So this guy is going to be Quinn.
Do we have to name him now, or do we
soon,
name him
but
later?
not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that in a minute.
I'm just going to highlight them to show that they've been taken.
Cool.
Jen, what do you like?
I don't know. Actually, I will take the holy person who is unlucky, and the drive is adventure and wanderlust.
Cool.
That just sounds like fun.
Brendan, did you have a?
I don't want to steal it if you really want it, Rich, but kind of.
What do you kind of want?
I kind of want the virtuoso.
Oh, thank God. That's all. I want the adventure wanderlust aristocrat who's lucky.
Nice.
Cool.
So evidently, no one chose the person with preserved tradition. What a surprise! Bunch of
Yeah.
idiot gamers. Nobody wants a traditionalist.
Boo. Excellent.
Cool. Awesome. So the next steps are that everybody needs a name for your character, which you can use some of the syllables to guide you. You can also add new syllables if those don't feel quite right, or if you've decided that your character is from someplace far away, you can throw in entirely different syllables so they don't sound like they're from around these parts. So you need a name, one physical descriptor, like the first thing that somebody would notice when you walked into a room, 2 traits, and 1 weakness. And the traits and the weakness are from charts. And let's see. I don't know. Brendan, do you have those charts like up by any chance in a way that they could be shared? Or I think that I could also...
I had them up, so I should be able to share them.
Okay, and let me know, because I also have the windows up, and I could...
Okay. If you got them up, go for it. I have to actually open them up again. Apparently I closed them.
Cool. Let me see how to screen share. This shouldn't be that hard, right? Okay. Screen share. I'm wondering if I can do this properly.
There
Is
goes.
that working? Okay. So, can you see these traits?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. So everybody needs a name for your character, a sort of physical descriptor, 2 traits, and 1 weakness.
What page is that on?
And you can just... what page in the book? Or...
Yes. Well, in the PDF.
That's a great question. Oh, in the PDF. These are the... I have the printouts up from the website, so I don't know if I'll actually be able to give you the right page in the PDF.
It's quite all right. I've got the reference tables up. I
okay.
Where you are. I'm good.
And I went ahead and created 4 little empty character templates in our Google Doc, so go ahead and fill one of those in as you choose. I'll take the one on the bottom.
And let me know if you have any questions about this part.
Choosing the name is going to be tough. Oh, okay. I got it. I'm good. It wasn't as tough.
That was actually really easy.
I'm like, when I realized that I could make my name Karak Ooh, well, alright, I'm down.
I was going to say there's like a finite combination of those vowels that are that we made, so we maybe should make sure we're not making the same names.
Yeah, and that happens every once in a while, and you can add syllables or say your name when you feel like you have it, and then
I'm using the syllables as sort of a starting kind of point. Like my guy's name is Vim Logus. So just like sort of just added some.
I like that.
Cool. Yeah, and that's sometimes it's kind of cool when people are having kind of the same like base to their name, because then you're like, oh, is that an honorary title or?
Right. For our physical descriptor, any tips or advice on how exactly just the first thing somebody would notice when they see us, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, something that would stand out to another person, or that stands out to you. It's just, something that would give the other players like a mental picture of your character.
Got it.
So, like, I'm, exceptionally tall, or even my muscles have muscles, or I don't know what.
My muscles have muscles. That's awesome. Hmm.
Or maybe just
Okay.
take like one more minute to I don't want to rush anybody.
Mm-hmm. I have mine done up now. Should we,
Cool. Does everybody have those basics?
I'm missing a physical description. That's the only one, but I'll come up with something.
Okay, cool. Maybe, let's see, can I close this window, or is that,
Yeah.
or move
Yep.
away from this window? All right. Let me stop screen sharing. Okay, great. Awesome. So does somebody want to start and just do like a brief introduction to just your character name and traits and stuff?
Sure. Unless somebody else would like to go first, I can jump right in.
Cool. And you
Sure.
can expand out your story a little bit too, if you're ready to do that.
Totally. So I'm playing Kurak U. Kurak U is a virtuoso, and I think actually, because this is also a personal thing, and I don't know enough about like artisanship to be able to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. He does the music. He does like the orchestral music for the myriad different sects and whatever services they would do. So getting him to come is a huge thing. It's great to have him come and play in your ceremonies. And he writes pieces for the different sects, and so they go away with sheep. This is an ooh. It's an ooh. And everybody's super excited that they got an ooh song. So. I'm imagining that he's kind of bored though, because he's kind of conquered this place in his own weird, twisted little mind. Like, I have made the best music, and there is little left to do here. Like, so he's craving for new things to see and to do and to make music about. So as a physical descriptor, it sort of did too, but he has long rainbow-colored hair and sallow, waxy skin. I'm envisioning that he's like thin and long-fingered, super haughty. But he's very striking in how he appears. So one of his traits is striking, and he's also eccentric because he's a crazy musician.
Cool.
And his weakness is that he's a show-off. Because he's Kurak U.
Obviously.
Obviously. What, you've never heard of ooh?
Cool.
It's bad.
Thank you. Awesome. Does anybody else feel ready to introduce their character?
I can go ahead.
Awesome.
I have Kivel, who is a healer, holy person. She has short, spiky white hair. Her trait is pacifist, and she's notorious for it. And her weakness is that she tends to check out when she doesn't think that she can do her good work.
Mm-hmm.
It was long white hair, Brendan, but you took long hair. So I changed it to short. So thanks for that.
Sorry, I stole your hair.
Show off.
We can't all have long hair.
Who did it first?
Cool. Rich or Quinn?
I can go. If you don't mind, Quinn, I actually really like the idea of Vim, so I stole that. Maybe we're related. Actually.
Well, maybe, or we're related, or maybe it's a common name.
Fine, we're not related.
Either way, no, we can be related. No, we can be related. Go for it.
It's okay. We don't have to be.
We'll find out when we establish relationships. So.
Vim Tazassel is an aristocrat, and he is a Griffin rider. And so, just going to go ahead and ride that one out. So he is pretty small. Kind of imagine him like a jockey. And he's lost his left leg at one point, so he is disabled, and he's constantly trying to show himself. So he's not a show-off, he's a daredevil, so he's constantly pushing his limits. But when he hits that point where he realizes something overcame him, then he gives in and just seeks comfort in, sex, food, alcohol, or drugs in a PG-13 way.
Nothing hard.
No. Chocolate, Too much sugar.
The ultimate of vices.
I've got Vim Logus, and he's an aristocrat. He's a member of the Senate for sort of a middling sect that actually has a lot of ties to agriculture. Sort of owns like a lot of estates and brings responsible for bringing food in and stuff like that. So he doesn't have as much power as some, but a fair amount. And he's got a decent amount of worshippers. His drive is change progress. He wants to. He feels that we could, if we could stop going to war with all of our neighbors over like perceived religious differences, we could actually open up trade and like make a lot more money, and like yeah, like there's some social benefits and stuff like that, but like the profit of not fighting everybody who's not in our religion far outweighs any other stuff. So he to that end he is he's very kind of powerful and commanding. But he's also subversive, so he's doing some things to sort of help us lose that he maybe should not be doing. Possibly, he might have some very touchy associations here and there, and his what you'd notice about him is he's very refined. Like just everything is just sort of like elegantly understated yet expensive, highly cultivated and groomed tastes in everything that he does. And his weakness is that he lashes out. If he is very regal and well-to-do, unless you really insist on not doing what he commands, and then you'll get to see another side of him.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. I'm excited to see how all of these characters are going to be connected.
Yeah.
So, with that, the next steps are that everybody's going to have a relationship with the character to the right and left of them, and I'm not exactly sure how that works because I think that maybe, are we seeing different displays in the order of faces at the bottom? Okay.
Yeah, you'll always be the rightmost, and then it's alphabetical. We could always use the order of the characters in the document.
Totally.
Cool. Yeah, that would be, that makes sense then. Awesome. So you're going to want a relationship to the character like before and after yours, and that doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It's just some way that you're connected. And then we're going to choose our goals after that and get started.
Nice.
Are these relationships supposed to be sort of collaborative? Are they supposed to be so I'd write my relationship between Kurak-U and Vim Sassel, and like it represents both of us, or can they be like more one-sided? Like my relationship with Vim is different from I like Vim and Vim hates me, or something like that.
It should be it should at least be collaborative. So, if you want Vim to hate you, Vim at least has to agree that, that's a type of relationship that they want. So,
Cool.
So this is a good part to sort of, talk it out. And, what did you say, Rich? Sorry to cut you off.
Are there suggested relationships like HX, or, is it just work out a relationship?
Let's sort of maybe pick a character to start with. I mean, I guess the best way to start is sort of if somebody feels like they, heard another character description and they're like, oh yeah, I, have an idea how we can be related. I mean, listening to people's introductions, I can see some possible like political rivalries here. They really, I mean, it could be a political relationship, some sort of religious connection, familial, romantic. It's super flexible as long as it's something that's, tangible.
Got it.
I feel like Kivel does not like Karaku. He's a show-off. He's not doing good work, right?
He's doing the best work. What are you talking about?
I'm doing the best work. We know this, okay? I'm healing people, entertaining them.
I produce art.
As a healer, are you like sort of more, like renounce worldly possessions? Like what,
I don't think I'm a renounce worldly possessions, but I'm like, there's people hurting. Stop spending so much damn money on this one guy.
He's like the pop star of this society.
Right, exactly.
So it's like mutual distaste. Like, I find what you do to be just meaningless. Like, why are you helping people? You could be creating art.
It doesn't benefit me, like, probably very much at all.
Yeah.
Aw, I
like it. Sorry I made you a jerk, Brendan.
No, I was already there. I'm good with it.
Are you okay? And Brendan, you're cool. Like that works for you.
I'm totally good with that.
And what do you think? Do you think that you are? What's sort of your relationship to like this, religious healer? Are you just like, that's old school? Nobody cares about that stuff anymore.
Yeah. I think it's totally sort of a mutual distaste. There's probably an undercurrent for me where I am jealous because there's probably a part of me that feels like Kivel may be more fulfilled doing what Kivel does than, Karak ever has felt super fulfilled. But at the same time, I think I view it as like, you're fixing people's bodies. How mundane. God. And meanwhile, I'm gonna go create a work of art that's gonna last for centuries. Okay, thanks. Bye.
I'm gonna go drink my wine and count my gold.
That too. I mean, that comes after the create the epic art.
Cool. All right. So, how about Kivo and Rich? What was your character named again?
Vim Tzassel.
Tzassel. Cool. Do you have any ideas about a connection there? If not, that's okay, and come back to it.
A connection with whom?
With Kivo. Am I going in the wrong order, or this?
I thought so. I thought it was up and down. Or we.
If we're doing it in the document, then Kivel is next to Vim Logus and Karaku. Vim Logus is next to Kivel and Vim Tzassel.
Oh, okay.
Vim Tzassel is next to Vim Logus and Karaku is next to Vim Tzassel and Kivel.
I feel like the two Vims need to work out this name thing. I want to. What is your guys' relationship?
Whatever Quinn was.
I mean, I think sort of cousins or something like that might be interesting.
That rocks.
Like, yeah. And I think and then we're both sort of have. So are you in the Senate? Is Tzassel in the? Is he like a senator or?
He's doing a military tour that's kind of kept going.
Okay. So I wonder if we're still then kind of then bound by sort of in the same sort of religion and maybe sort of still connected and sort of doing business. Like sometimes you might need a favor on the there. It's like, hey, we need extra troops or whatever, and it's like, sure, like I can hook you up, and it's like, but whilst you're out there, I need you to do some stuff. Now there could be a thing where I'm at some of the stuff I ask you to do, you're like, that's kind of weird. Like I might be asking you to do some stuff that is sort of strictly against your and you go along with it. You're like, you must know, like, hey, Logus probably knows what he's doing, but maybe I pushed my luck just a scotch.
Yeah, I think the luck that you're pushed is if you keep asking me to like escort boring ass caravans.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of asking you to do sort of weird stuff like that. And then do you have to do one with? We're doing both sides, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So not every single player has to have a relationship, but just to the character on either side.
See, I was thinking, like, I don't really have enemies, so to say. I just sort of have, like...
So you think.
Well, yeah, well, like in my own mind, I don't have, like, enemies or friends. I just have, like, people who are useful in different contexts, and I see Kaival as someone, like, who would be a great sort of, like... like, I try and support her stuff, because I'm trying to make these changes, and, like, she does all this great healing and stuff like that, so she makes someone great to, like, support and be like, look, I support this wonderful healer who's helping the people. Aren't I such a great guy?
I'm your charity project. I'm your good PR. Awesome. I like it.
Yeah. And I'm sure I'm not the most sincere of guys, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It might be complicated on her end, just like, well, it is money and it is support, but this guy doesn't. It's probably pretty clear to any sincere person that I don't really care.
Cool.
All right.
We need to come up with a relationship with Tzatzil and Kuraku.
Do you have any good ideas, Rich?
I think that at one point Kuraku wrote a song and sang it for someone that Vim Tzatzil was interested in as a favor.
Oh, like as a favor to the military, sort of? Like
as a favor to Vim Tzatzil.
It's so personal.
Well, does that mean that, like, since I do you personal favors, are we, like, buddies?
Why not?
Sure.
I think you have to be buddies with Kuraku to get him to do favors like that, right? I mean, because he doesn't just do favors for anybody.
By favor, you mean immense, exorbitant gold, right? Like.
Yeah. So I'm curious about what the relationship is that would make that favor possible. Like, who's indebted to who here? Who paid?
I still owe Kuraku.
I was actually hoping. I realized that I'm supposed to be unlucky, and I wanted to work a little bit more of that in. So since I'm in like this funk, right? Like I haven't made great stuff in a while. I don't love it as much, and I've just been sort of in ennui and like that kind of thing. Maybe you're putting me up. Like I'm living with you, and you're helping me to not be homeless at this point, because actually my son's
awesome. I'm your patron.
Exactly.
Well,
That's funny.
And I was thinking maybe even on that, maybe as it comes around, I'm the patron. Like you're asking me for the thing, and I'm just like, sure, yeah, take the stuff, and then that's one of the things that you use it for. Like I don't even know.
And you don't know. That's amazing.
Like I've got all this money, I'm just like, sure, houses.
So is Kuraku, is it like secret that somebody else is putting you up right now? Are you trying to sort of protect your pride, or is that pretty...
The real question is, do I know? Because if I know, everyone knows.
I have a feeling the full level of my poverty is not public. I think that, like, it's probably okay for a musician or an artist to have a patron and to even have that patron put them up. Like, that's accepted. It is a done thing. And particularly successful ones often have multiple patrons at a time. And so I'm used to being in a place where I'll have, major patronages from all across the entire city. Mm-hmm. Now I have one. That's what's not known.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
One.
Everybody just assumes that you're doing awesome, and so they all have to stop backing you.
Exactly.
You reside with me in the spires of Kuok, which have a beautiful view of the arcology.
So let's see. Does everybody have a relationship then with the person to either side?
Mm-hmm.
And how do I see if I want to reference the Google Doc? How do I do that? something that I can see easily.
Yes, I just put the link into the chat. So
Thank
if
you.
you go into the chat, it should just open straight up.
Cool. Got it. Opening very slowly for me, but there we go. Okay. Cool. So does that look? Are all the relationships matched up?
Yep,
Awesome.
I think we're good.
So everybody needs a goal, and hopefully now that we've, that characters sort of have met each other, that'll be, hopefully you have like a clear goal in your mind. But if not, it's totally okay to ask people for help and to sort of talk it out. So you want to come up with a goal that's like something big and monumental and something that's going to be very difficult to achieve. Like this is, sort of your magnum opus. This is your high-level goal. And then as we're going to go around and everybody's going to suggest 2 obstacles for that goal. So you come up with a goal and the other players help with the obstacles. And we don't necessarily have to go in any order. If you know what your goal is, you can just say your goal.
Cool. Does anybody have a goal?
Thwart
I
the war
think I
machine.
do.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thwart the war machine. Fight the power. I love it. You're just
And by thwart the war machine, do you mean like end the war?
Make it ineffective. Make it I just want to make it less efficient. Like when someone does the math, they're like, well, we could fight all these people, or we could just trade with all these people, and it will just be more profitable to trade than it will be to fight.
All right. So thwart the war.
make the war not feasible. Right?
So here's an obstacle. If there's no war, then there's no need for the military, which means there's no need for the writers. So.
Ooh, yeah.
That's good.
So how would you phrase that? Sort of as
Opposition from the writers.
There's a need for the military.
Oh, there's a need for the military. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, you meant riders, not writers. Okay.
Sorry.
Screw the writers.
A whole different army.
Like a writer strike?
What are we talking? Man, it's so confusing.
All right. So yeah. There's a need for the military. And
One obstacle I see is that I could be cutting off my own power in doing that.
Yeah. The war probably keeps some of these aristocrats in power. People sort of need somebody to turn to in times of turmoil. So.
Exactly.
Quinn, you're basically saying like your own structure or organization would realize, you know what, if we keep doing this, we're going to be out of a job.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
Nice.
That's cool.
Cool.
Do we have the 2 obstacles? Are we good? Anything
Yeah,
we
I
need to
think
do
that
for this goal?
those seem actionable.
So Zazel wants to marry Cavell. And that's who he got the song for. Buddy Kurahu.
Is that when you say Cavell? Do you mean Kivo? Is that
Kival.
Kivo? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And is that okay? Like, is that cool? Is that
Yeah, I'm cool with it,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. All right.
I mean, I don't know
Nobody
about
else
how
knows.
Kival feels about it, but
Yes,
Jenn,
and
as a player.
At a player level, if you're okay, as a character level, we'll see how that plays out. Aw. Right. So.
Well, I think obviously one of the obstacles is like Kival is a holy person, and like she's not a very good standing. Like she probably maybe doesn't even have any kind of like parents, or like her social situation isn't so hot. She's not a catch, like financially, let's say.
So would you say that maybe like this society would look down on like
Yes.
it's not really a
Right.
a
Yeah.
relationship that would be sanctioned by the society?
Yeah.
So okay. It's recording these obstacles. And are her feelings mutual? That might be an obstacle.
Oh, I gotta be a creeper, man.
Well, one thing I was thinking is
I feel like.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I feel like she likes him, but she is so dedicated to her work that she can't give up her work.
That's good.
She might not be emotionally available.
Yeah, that's dedicated to work.
Dedicated to.
I mean, if she could love anyone, it would be him. But she loves her work first.
It's okay, buddy.
It's so
There's other fish in
fulfilling.
the sea.
More songs to write for someone else.
Exactly. Fill my wine glass, please.
Cool. So, Jen or Brendan, do you guys have ideas of?
I feel like
Goals?
Keebell's goal is to sort of there's like some disease or something that she wants to cure. Some like sickness that's going around the city.
The red blight.
Nice.
It's probably
I
not.
was gonna suggest something that's helped by sunlight, right? Like vitamin B deficiency.
Just get outside more, people. Gosh.
The one sunny day of the year. Take advantage of it. Well, maybe.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
What if Vim Logus in our family is the major supplier of the medicine that's used to retard the symptoms, but doesn't cure it? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could cure it, but then that kills our
Profits.
So. Vim
Well, because
Logus
we're busy feeding, and this is like almost another conflict. We're busy, since we do the agricultural stuff, we're busy feeding the war effort. Like, that's where all our power comes from, so we can't just divert to cure this stuff, because then the military is going to be like, where's our stuff?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because the war is sort of the big problem, that maybe that's where the emphasis is in the society. Like, that's, where all the energy and resources are going. So, resources going to war. And yeah, should the other one be that, I don't know, that you have this medicine that's very profitable, but only sort of, doesn't cure the symptoms, it only sort of slows them? Are those two distinct obstacles, or do those feel?
Well, I mean, it's really up to Quinn, but my thought process was that he wants to get rid of the military, but a lot of the money he's bankrolling on this peacetime effort is basically is supplying medicine for the disease that doesn't cure it. It just keeps people alive. So they're a constant profit stream.
Yeah, I like that. I can do that. There's a sort of no, I'm trying to change this other thing, but I have no will to change this, because that's sort of like where, man, this feels like real life, right? Like sort of like pulled right in between these two things.
How do you feel about that, Jen? Like, do those seem like good obstacles? Like,
Yeah.
The war and then and Vim Logus.
The war. Yes.
Vim Logus is turning out to be quite the the character here. Sort of like.
Well, I love his
Go through me
mixed, right?
first.
He's got this noble goal, but then some of the things that he does in the pursuit of it are pretty nasty. It's awesome. It's like a robber baron in a way.
Yeah,
Eventually, there'll be the Logus Library.
Yeah.
The
Logus Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to take a bath after we're done playing, sort of wash the Logus off, but
Well, hopefully, we're all able to separate the player from the character. So.
Are we cool, Quinn? I don't want to like pigeonhole.
Oh no,
you
no,
into
no,
something.
no, that's great. No, I'm
Okay.
totally into that. Yeah.
Cool. Brendan, how about you? What's your goal?
Find the most glorious thing in the world to inspire my new opus.
Oh, that is such a
Yeah,
a
it's
big
doable.
quest.
That's totally gonna happen.
It's feasible, right?
Easy peasy.
Break that creative block you've got going on. All right, so obstacles.
I think he's distracted because there's an up and coming musician who maybe some new his patrons have decided to go with this new person, and it's very distracting when you're being outshone.
So, like lack of patron support, or sort of the. Do you want to go more in the lack of support
totally,
way,
sure.
or the sort of competition jealousy way? I guess you can say, Brendan, what.
Brendan, you tell us.
I mean, because that also sort of sounds like the two together almost.
Those also could be both of your obstacles. There's, somebody showing you up, and your patrons are not there the way they used to be.
I think if I had to pick one of them, I'd go with the somebody showing me up very specifically.
Okay.
But I think that going with both could work.
What if someone's showing you up and you're in love with them?
A twist. So do you want to go with both of those as your two obstacles?
I could be in love with them too.
No, not being. I meant with the lack of patrons, not the being in love with them.
Brendan, it's 2 obstacles, not 3.
Give me all of the obstacles. I'm totally cool with going with there's an up and coming musician, and basically so I first of all they're showing me up, and second of all the patrons have ditched me.
Cool.
For them. I'm good with that.
Awesome. I hope has anybody else been recording obstacles also, because my handwriting is a disaster, and I hope that.
I was recording mine. I think other people have been doing it too.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, as long as you've recorded your own, then we can sort of reference it back. Cool. Yay. Well, now the next step is to make a map, which I don't know if that's sort of hard to do.
We could do that in a Google drawing.
Okay. Then the map can be really quick. It can just be sort of marking a few, of the sort of main locations in our society that are going to be impacted by troubles as the game goes on.
It's a link to the map in the chat, so you should be able to zip on over and see that. I'm going to pop it onto screen share, like so, and I'll go ahead and do that.
Cool. And do you feel confident being the artist here?
Sure. My skills know no boundaries.
All right. Well. So location. So we just need to start off with like 3 or 4 important locations in the kingdom.
And so this should be within like the giant arcology that is our kingdom, right?
Yeah, they can, and we can also. It can also mark. You can mark sort of the kingdom we're at war with. Although so far we actually don't know a lot about who we're at war with. It seems like we'll sort of figure that out as the game goes on.
We don't even know who we're at war with anymore. We're at war with everyone.
We're a mess.
We're at war with Europa. We've always been at war.
Cool. So is this like the mega church here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
Cool.
I feel like the center of it is like maybe the sort of like the Hall of Gods, right? Like the sort of like that's the sort of Senate floor. And this is huge, like, and that's where all these sort of administrative functions are too. So it's like this super big spire right in the middle of, like, you can see it, like, jutting out from anywhere in the kingdom.
So if we're looking at this map from top down, then I can add that spire right in the center of the map.
And I think, is that the Senate of Gods? Because, Jen, you own the Senate of Gods.
Yeah, I totally think the Senate is the center of the city.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
I like it. I guess, does the military have like barracks or a place where, because we've sort of talked about the city that's kind of sanctioned off, like, the military is sort of only allowed in certain places, maybe?
The lower rung.
Yeah, the lower rung, yeah.
Cool.
Protect the walls.
Oh, it's totally like concentric circles, right? Like the military can only go so far in, and then like the religious people are in the middle.
Mm.
You people and your donut. Love it. Awesome.
You're just jealous because you can't get in the middle.
I'm an aristocrat. I could get in the middle. I just choose not to get in the middle.
All right. Military. So I guess it's worth marking. So let's see. That's military.
Like
and so where's like the ring that the I don't know, the artists and like would Korak U be invited into the Senate of Gods, or is that like the innermost ring, and even the artists aren't allowed in there?
I think only the gods are in the Senate of Gods, and like there's some other, like it's a super honor to get into the ring that's just on the outside of that one, because then if the gods deign to come out and say hello to you, they will.
You call it like the Parthenon or
something like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Donuts. Was that still City of Donuts?
You know it.
I feel like outside the city, there's actually like a large part sort of for the great sort of unwashed masses, and that's where sort of like, and then a lot of people own estates out of there. A lot of the gods will own estates and things like that. So for farming and all of that stuff eventually comes back into the city. So like the area outside exists really as a blade of armor and to feed the city, and to supply it with different things.
So that's sort of like the industry and the agriculture that's serving these inner rings in a way.
Right, but and I almost see it might be because it's so like light rain all the time. Possibly from that outer rung, they could sort of kind of catch some of the precipitation and almost use it as sort of like, they make these sort of things that like drill down sort of irrigation out to the floor. So sort of the rain's coming down and they have like these like little gutters that go down and then create sort of canals out, so it helps them farm in a way.
Cool. So those are enough locations to start with. Does anybody want to establish ownership over any of the locations? Like Jen, you already have the Senate of Gods. Are there other parts of the map that people want to own at this point, or you don't have to?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. The basic rule of ownership is that we can throw out all sorts of ideas, but something isn't owned until somebody asks a question about it, and at that point, that's when somebody says, like, all right, I'm going to take ownership of this, and sort of take creative control. So, ideas can come and go, but the ones that are owned will sort of stick in the story.
Cool.
Awesome. So, who feels like taking the first scene?
Any takers?
The moment of truth.
Oh no, it's got to be Karaku. Come on. We have to open with the writer's block musician.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, you did sort of set up this character that would be the one to take the first turn.
If you insist, I would not be one to turn down such accolades.
Cool. So the way that scenes go is that you're going to set the scene by telling everybody where you are, what you're doing, and who you're with. And you're going to declare a goal for that scene. So that's different than your overall goal, but it should be in like the mini steps to get to your overall goal. So your overall goal was to sort of find your creative muse, right? So this is going to be, what you're going to try to do in this scene to accomplish that.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So I can just go ahead and start describing, right?
Yeah, and then as
Cool.
it's a GM-less game, so basically the role of everybody else is to be engaged in your scene either as players. You do get, as characters. You get a mechanical bonus for having other characters that you have relationships in your scene. So there's an incentive to have the people that you're connected with in your scene. But, it's our job to sort of throw challenges your way, to engage your obstacles, and to, make it hard for you to get what you want.
And I can just straight up say, this character's in this scene, and you're cool with that.
Yeah, and, if somebody really doesn't want to be in the scene, you sort of have to accept. They're like, I don't really think I would be there, and, then you lose the bonus for that. But that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking then this is a scene where, okay, this is in like a grand library of some sort, and it's both an architectural masterpiece and a repository of old leather volumes and art and so much knowledge. And so I've come here to like pore over the volumes and seek my inspiration. But at the point I'm at now, like there I am, just like lying on my back with myriad tomes spread all around me, opened to random pages, and I have a goblet of wine in one hand, and I just have my eyes closed. I'm like rubbing my nose. I'm like, I am done with this shit. I'm desperately trying to hope and like find the book, like something. I'll learn about something, and it'll catch my interest, and it'll spark fire. But nothing is doing that, and so I'm drinking. And I sort of like. There's a part of me that wants Kivel to actually find me here. But the other, it does. I could totally see Vim Zazel being like, "So, I got you into this library. How's it going, buddy?" Oh. So, what do you think on that?
Up to you. Either one is cool.
Okay. Sure. Why doesn't Kivel come in and like maybe you're coming in for information or something because this is the repository of information in this.
I'm trying to cure a disease here, buddy. I got real research to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. And basically you can sort of role play up to the point that you feel like there's a question being asked or that you're sort of at an impasse, and that is when you roll for resolution. And one of the ways that the game works is that you can really say, you can go to resolution at any time. So especially in the later turns, you can kind of say, like, here's the setup for my scene, let's see what happened. And then the role play can sort of happen after. So it's really flexible like that.
Very cool. All right. So yeah, so there I am, wine goblet in hand, pinching my nose, eyes closed. Volumes of myriad sorts spread all around me.
I walk past you, like I give you this, oh, okay. I'm gonna go do my thing over here.
I smell medicines. How gauche. I open my eyes.
I'm totally wearing like poor person's clothes because all the money I have goes to healing these sick people.
Oh, that's so sad. You know, if you'd like real knowledge, I'd be happy to tutor you.
What on earth do you think you could tutor me in?
The world, my dear, the world.
Oh, sure.
Did you say your scene goal, Brendan?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So
I mean, does the single have to explicitly be something that he wants, in the sense that could it be something that happens as opposed to something that he's trying to make happen?
It could be something, it's sort of something in service of your overall goal that you want to see happen in the scene. Kind of the baby steps that you would take to get to your overall goal.
Cool. Okay.
So, yep.
So my scene goal then, I think, should be that Keevel points him to investigate something he would never have investigated before.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yes, I could teach you about the world, about the way things really are.
Because you know so much, sitting here drinking in the library, not making music.
I've made music, dear. I've made.
Oh, does that mean you're
music.
done? Now you can do some really good work. Now you can make the world a better place. I'm not a nice healer.
It's tough love, little tough love. That's all.
I have given to this world the beauty of my own soul, and what it has given back to me is paltry in comparison. What more do I owe it?
Maybe the world is done with you. Maybe it doesn't want any more of your soul.
So what? You the healer, you who fight for life every day as if it was something worth protecting, you come to me and tell me mine is over? Perhaps you would see me just cast myself out of the window. I thought of it before.
Well, no. Why would you waste your life when you could do so much good with it?
Should I join our military? Should I go fight in the war? Is that the good?
You need to find good for yourself.
I've been trying. I slam my head into a book.
Karak, I'm sorry you are not fulfilled. I have work that I need to do. If you're just going to distract me,
Then shut the hell up.
We can roll for resolution and
Yeah, I'm
see
good with
sort
that.
of
let's do that.
the outcome
that.
of what wisdom was bestowed.
It's going to take a while for Keevel to actually convince Karak that he needs to do something.
Went back and forth for a few hours, so. Cool. So the way that, I think we're probably going to have time to do maybe one round of turns. Is that?
Cool. Yep.
Cool. So the way that the dice matching works is that as the protagonist, you will get a dice. You start with 2. And let's see, I don't know exactly how we're going to... Maybe we'll mark the protagonist's dice up on the screen. Does that make sense?
That's cool.
Okay. So you start with 2 dice in your pool, and you get 1 additional die for every relevant trait, boost, which aren't applicable yet, and relationship. So you had 1 relevant relationship in your scene, which was Keevel. And remind me what your traits are.
Eccentric and striking.
Let's see. So we get to sort of have say over which ones. I'd say maybe eccentric. Maybe not striking in this case, but
yeah, no, Keevel is not struck by Karak, but he is eccentric.
He is a weirdo.
Cool. So that starts you with 4 dice, and
Cool.
The opposition will always start with 3 because the game is sort of weighted in favor of bummer things happening. And we add another opposition dice for every weakness level, which you don't have, every kingdom trouble at 3 or more, which we do have a war that's at 3 or more. So that's another red die, each relevant obstacle. So your obstacles are, let me look at...
I have the up-and-coming musician, and I have all the patrons have left me for her.
Yes. So what do people think in terms of relevant? Are those obstacles relevant in this specific scene? They're sort of, I guess, to some extent they are sort of the cause of your melancholy, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would say not
I
in
think
this
the
one.
lack of patrons is definitely affecting him, because otherwise he would be going to all these posh parties and he would have plenty of things to write music about.
I'd be happy.
Okay, all right. So should we say yes to lack of patrons, but not to this up-and-coming musician, which hasn't really come up yet?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that fits.
All right, so that is 4 dice for the protagonist and 5 for the antagonist, or for the opposition. So, what is the best way to do this?
Do you have access to Dice Stream?
I don't know.
I was gonna say I can roll like one color and somebody else can roll the other color.
Oh,
Sure.
okay,
We
cool.
can do that. If you want to roll
Awesome.
Jen on,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so Jen, you should roll the 5 for the opposition then. And Brendan, you should roll for
You got it.
the protagonist.
That roll could have been a lot better.
You
So
have a
that's-
6. 6s are good.
Yeah, that's one.
So you get to match, you only ever get to put forward 2 as the protagonist, and the opposition will always automatically put forward their highest 3. So Jen will automatically be putting forward, what was, actually, hey, you had a 6, that's not so bad. The 5, 3, and 2.
Right.
And you get to choose how you're matching your dice against those. And each of your choices has like a narrative outcome. So, if you have, do you have the table of outcomes?
I do.
Awesome.
So, and so for me to have a victory, I have to actually put a die that's higher than the opposition's die.
Yeah, so matches get canceled out. They're sort of considered stalemates where nothing happens.
Got it. Okay.
So you have to choose how you're matching your dice against a 5, 3, and 2, and then you get to narrate your successes, and then the opposition narrates your failures.
Okay. And so the 2 that I don't match against will still be a failure, right?
The 2 that you don't match against.
Because the opposition's putting forward the 5, 3, and the 2, and I'm only putting forward 2 dice.
Yeah, there will always be one, you'll always have one negative thing that goes through no matter what. It's possible that you could have 2 victories, but yeah, you'll always be losing on something. In this case, you're going to be losing on more than one thing because it wasn't a great roll for you.
Well, if I put the 6 up against the 5, and if I put the 3 up against the 2...
Oh, you're right. Yeah, actually, that...
Let's do that.
Yep. Cool. So you would be winning on a 6 and a 3 and losing on a 3.
Mm-hmm.
So just to sort of say what those things represent narratively, 6 means that you have a resounding success, which is sort of a success so big that it has ripples throughout the entire kingdom, or could possibly have ripples throughout the entire kingdom, and you gain a fortune token, which will come into play in the epilogue, which we unfortunately won't have time for. And then a 3 means that you heal a relationship. In this case, you don't have any exhausted relationships, so you don't have a relationship to heal, but you will get a fortune token, and then you will a relationship will be negatively impacted as a result. So you get to narrate your victories first and sort of what they meant as a result of this scene, and then the opposition gets to say how that relationship changed. And I feel like I have some ideas.
Sure. Yeah, so I think actually I'm just so frustrated, and I'm like, I just want to quit of this, that actually I volunteer to help Kivel find the books she's looking for. But in the process, like, just seeing the books she's looking for and the images within and the text within, like, my eyes are going wide as I'm looking over them, and I'm like, what? And I'm like hearing melodies start to form in my head, and they go away just as quickly, but I have a notion of where to go. And so my hand starts like scribbling down a new song, even as I'm just looking at the books with her. But that probably means that I may even be so far as to like scribbling on the books, because I don't really care about the actual books. I just care about the music, which they're inspiring. Yeah, but I'm super psyched because like I'm finding it. I'm finding it somewhere.
Cool. Epic inspiration. So you can mark that you would get a fortune token for that, and you would take another fortune token for the healed relationship, which isn't really relevant here, but you can still get a fortune. And then Kivel, you get to narrate how a relationship was exhausted as a result of this scene in the library.
Yes, so I think Kivel is looking through all of these books, and she actually thinks that Karak is interested, and like, in her head, all these new possibilities are opening. Like maybe he'll do like a charity benefit kind of thing, and then he kind of just starts wandering off, and she's just like, "What the heck, dude? Like I thought you were gonna help me."
No.
No, not so much.
So your relationship with Kivel will be exhausted for now, and it won't serve you in future turns until it is healed.
Got it.
Awesome. Does somebody want to go? I know we only have a few minutes left, so I don't know if we'll get to everybody's turn.
Loga scene. Then Loga should have a scene.
All right, let's. Quinn.
Okay. So.
Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with?
I am in my chambers, and I am talking with my cousin Vim Tassel, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, sorry. And my scene goal here is I'm trying to convince him to do something that will like impact the war effort, but is completely sort of like traitorous at the same time. So I'm trying to throw this one like a sneaky fastball by him and see if I can get him. I'm trying to get him
because you don't want him to know that it's traitorous.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I'm just trying to get him to agree to delivering a simple package. So I'm in there. I've got we're eating. I think a great meal. Like I've really. This is maybe the best meal you've ever had. I really emptied my own coffers for this one particular meal. And sort of. Vim. We share a name. It's just one of the many ways in which we're alike.
Yes, you've outdone yourself with this meal, Logus. What is it that you need? Obviously, there's something on.
Oh, I don't like to think of this in is between us. It's not needs. It's what we're building together. And I think we've built a nice network of things, and haven't we?
True. there are a number of good works that we've done for the arcology. What would you have of me, my cousin?
I know that you're tired of these dreary escort missions. I tire of sending you on them, honestly. But I do think that we have seen almost the end of them. I just need you to. I need you to do one more. This is a bit longer, a bit more tedious, but no less crucial. In fact, this is the most crucial delivery I could ask. I need you to escort artisan's shipment of fine goods, completely unmolested. I need you to work that magic you do where they don't inspect at the checkpoints. You've done that before, and I'll make sure you're handsomely rewarded for that, like I always do. And I need you to send this to a few estates, not just my estate. This time, I need you to send it to. I'll give you a list. Actually, at this point I shove sort of like a list of the different estates that he'll need to escort it through, and we just need to drop those off. It'll be a simple manner.
Cousin, smuggling again?
Smuggling? That
I think we should roll for resolution. That's what I think.
Yep, let's do it.
Cool. All right, so Vim Logus starts with 2, and then what are your traits?
I've got commanding and subversive. I feel like commanding isn't quite in here. Like I'm too nervous about it to be commanding him, right?
Yeah,
like I wouldn't be like, you're going to do this. Right, like if I try and ram this down his throat, like this could immediately backfire. But subversive,
yeah, totally.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and you have a relationship in this scene. So trait boost relationship. All right, so you will start with 4 then, and opposition will start with 3. And then what are your obstacles? And I have them written down.
The need for military and the lack of support in Senate. I could see the military stuff coming into play.
Yeah, I think that the need for military. Cool. So let's see, obstacles. Oh, and we have a kingdom trouble. Our war is at 3. So it will be 5 opposition against 4 protagonists. So, Quinn, do you want to roll for the protagonist dice?
Sure. And I get 4, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. And roll. Okay. Could have seen better, but that's okay.
All right. Rich, do you want to roll for the opposition?
Sure, and that was 4?
That was 5 for the opposition.
All right. There we go.
Hey. All right. So, Quinn has 2, 3, 5, 1. And the oppositions were 2, 3, 1, 4, 3. Cool. So Quinn, you get to pick 2. You're matching up 2 against the 4, 3, and 3 because the opposition automatically puts forward their highest 3.
And I have to beat it.
It has to, beat it. Or if you didn't want the negative outcome, you could match, a 3 and a 3 together to sort of cancel them out. That is an option to sort of say, I don't want to accept like the negative outcome here. And do you want me to read you the possible outcomes? Or do you want to just sort of? Okay.
I'll just match it. Actually.
You want to wing it? Okay, cool.
So I'll cancel out the 3 with a 3.
Okay.
One of the 3s, and then And then if the 5 beats the 4, then I get the 5 for the outcome, right?
You would get a 5 victory and then a loss on a 3.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, cool. So a 5 victory is gaining a boost, which means that as a result of this scene, you have some sort of new trait or quality or something you've gained that will serve you in future scenes. So, something has gone your way that is kind of like a temporary boost. So you will get to narrate that, and then the 3 is going to be a loss or a change of an exhausted relationship. But you get to narrate your victories first.
Okay. The exhausted relationship seems pretty clear there. I think I have I've outdone myself here. So I'm subversive, but up until now I've most of the time I do just sort of force people into things. I'm like, you're going to do this, and I've just set this, I just set a trap for them. I'm not actually persuasive usually, but here I feel yes, I've actually persuaded my cousin to do this thing for me, and it's it opens up a whole new strategy for me. So I think that was sort of I would add for a trait like persuasive or something.
Sure. Yeah. A great one. So how is the relationship with Vim Zossel exhausted as a result of this favor?
I can't ask him for this again.
He actually gets to narrate. He gets to narrate that because that's fine. He's the opposition.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I really don't feel comfortable running. This is the last run. You said it was the last, and it's absolutely the last. I'm just doing my military stuff from now on, and we're still friendly, but yeah, you can find another smuggler.
You wash your hands of it.
That sounds fair.
Cool. So how are we doing time-wise? I don't know if we have time for another scene or.
We should bang out one more scene.
We have about 10 minutes left, so yeah,
okay.
We can push for one more.
All right. Cool. So who wants to sneak in a scene?
I do. I want to bang out. I want to have a quick scene with Zossel and Kevel.
Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we know who you are with. Where are you, and what are you doing?
We have delivered some medicine to an outlying settlement, and there's a threat that's coming, but there are a number of people that she still needs to help. I think that's the threat. The scene goal is, I think this also wants to impress Kevel, but also keep her safe. Is that too many? Is that okay, or is that too many goals?
Totally okay. Just something to sort of guide your scene forward.
Cool. All right. So let's see. How do you see this village, Jenn?
Well, like you said, if it's are we outside of the main circle, or are we? That was the impression I got, anyway. So maybe we are.
I think we're outside the arcology entirely.
Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah. Yeah. There's some sick family who are farmers or something. So we're out of the way.
Sweet, yeah, so a homestead, maybe way out. Awesome. Okay, cool. And
with a whole bunch of, flat land in between us and the nice safe walls.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Good, yeah, so, so this is the Red Blight? Yeah, maybe you're doing are you curing it, or are you delivering my cousin's...
I think I'm delivering the medicine that sort of stabilizes it but doesn't cure it. But at this point, I will take stabilizing because that gives me more time.
Cool. So you're maybe we pick it up in the bedroom of one of the children.
Oh sure.
Cool. So I think Zossel comes in. He kind of limps in on his his weird mechanical leg there. How is she, Kido?
She's all right. I'm disappointed with this medicine. I had hoped that it would make the symptoms subside a little bit more. She still has a little bit of a fever. I'm concerned if I can't come back, maybe tomorrow or even the next day. I don't know what will happen.
I can make sure that you return as long as we are back within the arcology by nightfall.
That would be wonderful. I would very much appreciate that.
This homestead is at risk. You know that some of the opposition will be coming through here soon. How much longer do you need?
I don't want to leave them. They're sick. They can't. The whole family is sick. They can't care for themselves.
True, but they won't be harmed or molested. They're farmers. You're a valuable asset. You can return if we leave, but if you stay, and they know that you're here, you're in danger. You should go.
I actually kind of want to see dice on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moment of quiet tension here.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Kival will start with 2, just for being a protagonist, and 1 for a relevant relationship. And what are your traits?
Wait, is it Vim or is it me? I thought it was Vim.
Oh, yeah, it's Vim. I'm sorry,
okay.
it's Vim's also scene, so scratch that.
I don't know. Did I work in disabled?
You did. From my view, my character's view, you did.
All right.
I don't think Daredevil necessarily. I mean, we are out in the outskirts, but I don't know if this is necessarily a Daredevil thing. So I don't feel.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't seem like you've had to be a Daredevil yet in this scene.
I agree. Okay.
Okay. So that would be starting with 4 dice, and opposition will start with 3, and then there's the Kingdom Trouble, which is at 3, and then what are Vim Zazel's obstacles?
My obstacles are that Kivel has no standing or holding. She's not a catch, and she's dedicated to her work and not emotionally available.
I definitely
last
feel like
one.
dedicated to work is going to be trouble for you in this one.
Yeah.
And this is Vim Zazel's scene, though,
Right?
right? Yeah.
Those are his obstacles, though. Or his obstacle. He wants to marry Kivel. That's his.
Oh,
goal.
okay, yeah, that she's dedicated to work. Okay. So can you say those? Can you say the obstacles one more time?
You bet. Kivel is not a catch societally.
Got it.
And that Kivel is more not emotionally available, so she's dedicated to her work.
Cool. And so, do you think both of those, or?
I don't know about the first one.
Yeah.
Although he did reference, hey, you could be in trouble because you're a target. So I don't know. I'll leave that. What do you think, Jen?
Yeah.
No, I don't think the first one is particularly applicable. I feel like the second one is absolutely something that you need to overcome.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay,
Awesome.
so I'm rolling 4. Is that right?
Yep. So it is. Yeah. Again, it's 4 protagonists and 5 for the opposition. So.
Am I the opposition? Am I rolling?
Yeah. If you want to roll for the opposition, that would be great. And Vim, if you want to roll your 4. Cool. That's not a bad roll.
I'm sorry.
Starting out with an apology is not a good sign. Oh no.
I got 2 losses.
So you automatically will be up against a 6, and a 5. So you get to decide how to match your 6, 5, 2.
So I can go 6, 2, 5 and basically just have 1 loss.
You could match. So you're suggesting matching which against which? You can only match. You match 2 against the 3.
Well, Which would go better? I can match the 6 against the 6 and the 5 against the 5 because it would go 6-6-5.
And then
which
one
means I
6
have
will
one
go
loss.
through. Mm-hmm.
Or I could have 2 losses and 1 win with a 6, which would be more advantageous.
Well, I will tell you. 6, losing on a 6 means doom, and that means that a new trouble gets drawn for the kingdom for every 6. So
Screw the
it's
kingdom. Okay.
sort of narratively interesting. So you can always accept that resounding success and throw your kingdom under the bus for interesting storytelling. That's totally. There's like no choice to be made. All right, so first you get to narrate your resounding success, and then we'll draw those kingdom trouble cards and see what is going to happen.
Sweet. So the resounding success is the Keyvel. I don't know. I feel like my resounding success is narrating what your character does. I don't think that's. I'm not.
No, you can. It's
really.
totally. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Keyvel notices that, hey, I'm all in on this. I'm willing to throw out what I should be doing to help you achieve your goals, and it's really important to me.
I value dedication.
I'm dedicated. I've heard that I'm going to lose my military standing anyway for this like smuggling thing I did.
Don't tell me about that.
So why not?
All right, step in the right direction.
Cool.
So as love blossoms, some horrible things are afoot in the kingdom. Does somebody want to draw 2 cards?
I'm in the card drawer unless somebody really is itching to do it.
Go for it.
All right, a black ace.
Ace. And or what is we need the suit. The suit is what's going to
we need the suit that's on club.
Club.
So our 1 club goes up to a 2.
Yeah.
Civil unrest.
Okay, so 1 club, and we had 2 troubles go through, right?
We do.
Yes.
What's the other one?
The King of Diamonds.
Okay, so the external war stays the same, but our civil unrest goes to a 2, and a wealth problem is sort of developing. So do we want to just sort of narrate out what we think that looks like? And then also, every time a trouble is drawn, it impacts a location on the map. The first time a trouble hits a location on the map, that location is impacted. The second time, it's permanently changed and transformed into just something with an entirely new meaning. So right now, it will just be impacted. So we get to decide which location is most impacted by the civil war, and which location is most impacted by this new wealth or resource problem.
I feel like the area outside the arcology is the most impacted, right? Like the people are sick, maybe they're cut off from the medicine by the opposition or other armies or something.
I agree with that.
So are they the ones, they're hit by this, the resource problem? Like they can't get medicine as easily now or something?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what about the Civil War?
I feel like that might hit the lower rung outside, right? Like the tension, right? You know, because of that, then there's more sort of tension in the militaries being forced to deal.
Oh yeah, like
with that,
deal with their own people who are
right. Yeah, now they're having to because people are starting to panic and riot. They're having to deal with the fallout from that.
Yeah, so the military are sort of having to turn inward on their own people now.
Right.
Cool. Well, thanks, Rich. Throw your kingdom under the bus there.
Thanks, man.
That was a great scene.
But you did get a resounding success, so you get a fortune token. You might not have a kingdom to use it in, but
it's worth the kingdom. Oh, that's healthy.
Should we move to wrap up then? Everybody got a scene?
Yeah. So the only thing Hannah, if you want to give a brief overview of what would happen in the epilogue, just to give anybody who watches this an idea of what that would be.
Yeah.
And then we can close it.
Yeah, so the game is always 3 rounds, so everybody gets a first scene, second scene, and third scene. By your third scene, that's sort of when you're in this, spiraling out of control push to meet your goal. And the game really doesn't say, there's nothing mechanically that says whether you achieved your goal or not. That's really largely in narration. And as the game goes on, you're accruing fortune and misfortune tokens, and the epilogue ends with sort of this fortunately this happened, unfortunately this happened story, where you get to wrap up your story and you get to narrate your fortunes, other characters narrate your misfortunes. They tend to be a little bit down, but sometimes there's some good personal stories told, often some pretty dark kingdom stories.
That means you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Hannah. Thank you for doing this. This was really fun.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for being a part of it.
That's awesome.
If somebody wanted to find or buy a copy of Questlandia, where can they do that?
They can go to Questlandia.com. We have physical copies of the book and also PDFs offered through like a little Humble Bundle widget. And then we'll be at Dreamation in a few days. So, pick up an in-person copy if you're going to be there.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Cool. Thank you.
This was awesome.
This was very fun. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Quinn. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody who watches. And please, if you like this video, we do lots of cool other videos, other exhibition games, so please subscribe by clicking the button that is...
No.
Damn it! Sorry.
Every single time, Brendan. It's not hard.
All right, that's a good conclusion. There we go. Great. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Right.